Scandal. We have to touch on it. It was obviously,
Yeah. Changed
this
my life.
massive change your life. Tell me about that moment that you realized you were the first Black female to lead this type of show and it was working. Like, was it like one of my friends was like, when white people started recognizing me, I knew shit was different. Like,
Yeah, that's why I have a whole chapter in my book called Black Famous, right? Because there is this moment where you go
yeah,
from like, oh, Black people know who I am to
right.
like, oh, everybody knows who I am. Oh, it's so
Yeah.
wild. I think
But is there a moment that something happened and you're like, oh, shit's different now?
it was like a wave. It was like a tsunami because we had this 1-2 punch, in between seasons 1 and 2, I filmed Django. And
Right.
so there was this crazy cultural moment of both of these like groundbreaking projects coming out into the world and really the world like all the like Scandal suddenly, even though people would say like, oh, part of the reason why they hadn't put a Black woman as the lead of a network drama in almost 40 years was because how do you sell to international territories with a
I
Black woman
hate
as your
that
lead,
shit.
right?
I hate it. Another conversation.
It's
Keep going.
insane. It's insane
Yeah.
because it's not
Yeah.
true. But coupling Scandal with Django, which was an
Yeah.
international juggernaut where we premiered in Paris and we premiered in London and we premiered in Berlin, it was like, oh, Scandal's undeniable because
Yep.
it's that girl from Django and it's this incredible show. So it became this tsunami of wildness. I think probably the day that I like opened up our pretend elevator so that Oprah Winfrey could walk into the offices of Olivia Pope and Associates, I was like, shit's changed.
It's
Something's
different
different.
now. It's different
Something's
now.
different. And I remember sitting with her and talking about the idea that my character in Django, Broomhilda von Shaft, that like in many ways Olivia Pope was like her wildest dreams embodied, right? That,
Oh,
that
wow.
like
That's
she
interesting.
was a woman, Broomhilda von Shaft was on the run just to defend her marriage because she was still 3/5 of a human being, not
Hmm.
allowed to legally be married to the man she loved, like on a search for freedom and being able to love. And Olivia Pope was like, with the exception of the rooms where she was with the president, she was always the most powerful person in the room. And
Yeah.
even with him, often was the most powerful person in the room. She just, she was in love.
Let him have it.
So I think like that idea of like, walking in 4-inch Manolos and running through the woods barefoot, that kind of trajectory back and forth was really intense. And it kind of, it made me feel so lucky that I could have both, that I could
Yeah.
tell both stories.
It's a blessing to say the least. How did Little Fires Everywhere come about? I heard a story that like you called Reese or Reese called you and shared the material and it was just like, let's go.
Yeah, Reese had the book because she has all the books
Right.
because of her book club. And
It's a little
she
little
had the
book
book
club,
in,
right? Little
yeah,
tiny
tiny
thing.
little book club.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
sent me the book. And I always say she made me a terrible mother for one weekend because I like wouldn't come out of my bathroom because I would just was like, I have to finish this book. It was so good. And I was so excited because it was at the end of Scandal and I didn't know what was going to be next. I knew I was going to do American Son, but I wasn't sure after that what would
Mhm.
happen. And so I was thrilled to have this opportunity and really excited to work with her because I have such deep respect for her. And I feel um, very aligned. Like we are very similar people in a lot of ways. And so it was really fun to be able to partner. One thing we feel very strongly about at Simpson Street is the power of partnership. We feel like collaboration leads to more creative courage and when you have the right partners. So Hello Sunshine was one of those partners and I'm really grateful that we got to make that show together.